The average person is still under the aberrant delusion that food should be somebody else's responsibility until they're ready to eat it. Food security is not in the supermarket. It's not in the government. It's not at the emergency services division. True food security is the historical normalcy of packing it in during the abundant times, building that in-house larder. These quotes are taken from the book Folks, This Ain't Normal by Joel Salatin. He is an amazing farmer. He owns Polyface Farms in Virginia, and he was one of the handful of people I originally came across when I first discovered the word homesteading, which was probably about 5 years ago at this point. But if you haven't heard of Joel Salatin, you should 100% look him up. He is just absolutely incredible. I have seen him speak at some conferences, and I have read a handful of his books, and they are books that you need on your bookshelf. They are very educational, informative, and motivational as well, especially if you are starting to step into the world of homesteading. Some very practical things to do in order to create a homestead yourself. There's actually a documentary recently created about Joel Salatin's life and how he ventured into the world of homesteading. I believe it's on Angel Studios, and the documentary is called The Lunatic Farmer. And if you read some of his books or watch any of his videos or listen to any podcasts, you will understand why he is called The Lunatic Farmer, and I'm sure the documentary explains it as well. I think I watched it sometime last year, and I need to rewatch it because it is just so wonderful. But definitely start looking up this guy, and he will enter you into a whole different world and inspire you like no other. So this is the first time we are butchering chickens. The first time we raised them and butchered them, and the whole process from start to finish was about 8 weeks. We decided to go with the Cornish Cross breed because that is the most popular. Another breed that is popular that we were debating between was called the Freedom Ranger. I actually have a friend who is currently in the process of growing her Freedom Rangers right now, so I will be excited to swap chickens to see the difference in taste. I know the Freedom Rangers take a little bit longer, and my husband decided that he wanted a shorter process just because this, like I said, was our first time. So we're here in Pennsylvania. We got these chickens after Labor Day, and then we butchered November 1st, and it ended up being a beautiful day. And my daughter was so fascinated by the whole entire process. We watched the whole thing. We didn't really get our hands into it. The boys kind of took care of that, which is good because, you know, it's kind of gross in my opinion. Like, I love the whole homesteading world, and at some point I will dive into the actual process of everything, maybe. But for now, my husband, father-in-law, brother-in-law, they got it taken care of, which is nice. And I believe the whole process of butchering to packaging throughout that day only took about 4 hours, I would say. We only had about 18 birds, and 2 of them, we always said that they were probably just bullied out of the food because there were 2 tiny ones. The rest were probably about 8 pounds, and then the smaller ones, honestly, may have only been a couple of pounds. So there's different protein ratios that you want to feed the birds throughout the different weeks leading up to the butchering day. I made sure to always have organic feed, corn-free, and soy-free food. The first 2 weeks of feeding, you allow them to have food and water for 24 hours, and the protein content is anywhere between 20 and 22%. Weeks 3 to 4, we transitioned into an organic grower feed, 12 hours on, 12 hours off. And then that protein ratio is anywhere between 18 and 20%. And then the last couple of weeks, I kind of just kept that whole schedule and remained with the higher protein content of around 18 to 20%. Besides the last week, I believe I bumped it down to maybe 16 to 18%. And then the day before butchering, I gave them a last meal of breakfast, and then we removed the food for the rest of the day. about 24 hours beforehand, and I allowed them to have water, and the boys said that it was very helpful because they didn't have as much feces within their system. I know to some people this may seem like an absolutely foreign concept of raising your own chickens or raising your own food in general and then processing it and having it in your freezer, because I know this was not part of my lifestyle at all growing up. But in my opinion, this is some of the most important work that we can do as a society, is starting to understand where our food comes from and really have a hand in what we are consuming, because everything has been so ultra processed and disconnected from reality. And I mean, the purpose of food is nutrition and connection. And because we live in such a disoriented society, we have grown so far away from true connection with food and have no respect or regard to the things that we do consume. So this is a step that our family is taking, and I'm very excited to continue on the journey and learn more and grow our homestead and take you along throughout this process, because it is going to be truly a lifelong journey. Here we are just crafting along, because that is what me and my daughter enjoyed doing. I am no artist, truly, when it comes to crafting, but I attempt to do those things because it's fun, and with practice you will get better. But I am impressed by my daughter. She genuinely enjoys coloring and painting her feet, her hands, all the things, and it's so adorable to have all of these sweet crafts to hold on to as memories along the way, because I know this time goes by so fast, and they are just precious, cherished memories. So I did not grow up with a stay-at-home mom. My parents both worked full-time pretty much as long as I could remember. I was always in daycare and all of those things, and I just knew I did not want to have that same story for my daughter as she grew up, because there is so much research to show that, especially the first 3 years, but in reality, it is their whole lifetime, in my opinion, where it is essential for children to have their mothers at home. Daycares are very, like we were chatting about before with food, the same goes for the mother and child relationship, where it can become very disoriented and disconnected, and this is where bonding happens. And of course, if bonding doesn't happen in those early years, you can make up for it later, but the reality is that bonding is essential in order to build strong relationships, and positive relationships are built off of positive shared memories with your children and with your parents, and just with people in general. The closest people we hold on to dearly in our hearts are those we have shared positive memories and relationships with. If you haven't read the book of Titus in the Bible, I highly suggest doing so, but specifically chapter 2, verses 3 through 5, talking about older women teaching the younger women what it is they're supposed to be diligent in order for us to live God-honoring lives as women, wives, and as mothers. So it says, older women likewise are to be reverent in behavior, not slanderers or slaves to much wine. They are to teach what is good, and so train the young women to love their husbands and children, to be self-controlled, pure, hardworking at home, kind, and submissive to their own husbands, that the word of God may not be reviled. And I remember when I first read this going throughout college, I was so relieved that the Bible touched on such an important task for women, because I did not want to be in school. I wanted it to end like no other. If I could have graduated early, I would have. My program wouldn't allow me, but that's okay, because the Lord's timing is the Lord's timing. However, I could not wait to get out, to get married and start a family and begin my homemaking journey. It truly seemed like it was everything that I wanted to do and be, because I knew physiologically it made the most sense. I am not made for this 24-hour clock that men's cycles are driven and made for, because my cycle is 30-something days. We do not have the same energy as male hormones. We are uniquely different as women, and feminism has completely destroyed the idea of nurturing what a woman's body needs truly. And of course, it has no regards to the aspect of faith being a very important aspect to what it is to raise up a godly home. And if you really genuinely want to change the world, it starts within your home. If we are constantly disconnecting from everything, being on our phones, leaving our homes, leaving our children with other people, then who is raising the next generation? You believe that it is you as the parent who is raising them up, but is it really you when you send your children off to school for 8+ hours a day, and then they go to extracurriculars, and then they're hanging out with their friends? Are you really having dinner with them in the evening? Are you getting to know them as teenagers? Are you truly invested in what it is they are becoming and their interest, or are you constantly shutting them down in order for you to make yourself feel better as a superior parent? Or are you in the perspective of what can my children add to my value and my life and what it may look like to those around me? Or are you really diligently taking the opportunities that you do have with your children to share the gospel with them in order for them to become disciples of Christ and to share the good news with other people in order for other lives to be saved in eternity? Because that is what our job is as parents. The most important work we can do is to share the good news of Jesus Christ with our children every single day through our words, our actions, our facial expressions, and how we talk and how we dress and how we talk about people and so on and so forth. It truly is the most remarkable job in the world to be a homemaker, but it is so overlooked. And something that I find so interesting is I was so concerned to switch over to staying at home, and I wasn't even really doing much of anything different because I was nannying, so I was essentially being a homemaker at somebody else's house, which I absolutely loved and enjoyed because nursing, as I've said before, was not for me. I like the opportunities to have the freedom to cook the food that I want to cook and be outside when I want to be outside, because sometimes there's only pockets of sunshine throughout the day, so I am putting my jacket on and running outside when I see the sun, because in these winter months it is few and far in between. Alrighty, it is the next day of me recording this, so I honestly don't even know where I left off or what I was saying. I tried to listen to a bit of it back, and it had me thinking about what I was doing today. So this morning I took my daughter out to a local nature preserve that we have down the road from us, and it was a beautiful clear day. And this is the time of year, it's chemtrail season. So as we were outside, we didn't get very far along the trail because it's a little toddler making her way with her little tiny itty bitty steps, and we probably didn't even make it a quarter of a mile. And we were there for 2 hours, but it was a great time nonetheless. But all of that to say is, while we were there, you could slowly see the spraying in the air. And I recently watched a documentary on, I believe it was Amazon Prime. So if you're interested in learning more about chemtrails, you can find it there. The documentary is called Climate Trails, and a lot of the information I did know. However, there were some things that this documentary pointed out which I thought was really interesting. One of which is that there is a website. You can track what is being sprayed in your area, and you can actually find out the pilots who are flying that plane. I am not sure what that website is called, and I need to go back and look it up myself, but I thought that was extremely interesting. I find all all of this stuff very interesting, and just conspiracy theories, air quotes, in general, very fascinating, because a lot of the times, I would say a majority of the times, it is information that is already out there, and I suppose it's just how disconnected we are from what our eyes are seeing, and we are so used to what people are telling us, and we decide that what other people tell us is the truth, that many people do not think for themselves. I mean, if you think about it, you have been indoctrinated since birth. It happens before birth, with your parents, with how the medical system sways you into believing certain things about your body, pregnancy, nutrition, all of the above, and then it trickles down into how you deliver the baby. Are you seeking out different ways to avoid pain? Because as a society and as a culture, we run from pain and try to relieve it. But pain is not a bad thing. Pain in birth is the communication between the mother and the baby. And this is a complete side tangent off of chemtrails, but something that is so interesting is that when labor stalls, if you're not causing intervention with water birth or anything where you're trying to relieve pain in a way that is inhibiting the communication between the mother and the baby, the stopping of labor or stopping of a contraction or the spreading apart and timing of contractions is because the baby needs a break. If you are trying to push contractions to happen at a rate faster than what the baby is able to handle, you're going to create a hypoxic baby, and they're going to struggle breathing when they are born. So you have to just allow the process to unfold. All of that is connected with how disconnected we are as mothers, parents, a society in whole. So a lot of things that we see with our own eyes, we can't even trust our own eyes because we've been told time and time and time and time again that no, that's not real. What you're seeing isn't true. What you're seeing is actually this. But have you ever stopped to actually question the things that people have told you since you were a young child? Because once you do start to question those things, the scales will be lifted and your eyes will be able to see the things that were always in front of you. You're going to have ears to hear and eyes to see, and it is quite fascinating. And it, depending on the person, for me, it led me down the more holistic homesteading journey because this was the option that made the most sense: to grow my own food, birth my children at home, raise my children because I didn't want other people raising them, and hopefully teaching them to think for themselves rather than have other people tell them what to think. But going back to the chemtrails, I find it very interesting because this is the season of chemtrails. I believe it is from November through maybe March. And it is just so dramatic, the things that can happen when chemtrails are being sprayed. I mean, it is being seeped into our bloodstream. It can cause different diseases. It can cause sickness. I remember sometime last year, I got extremely sick after a very, 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 very heavy day of chemtrail spraying, and I was out for the count for maybe 10 days, and I have not ever been so sick. But what is so interesting when people want to deny it or label certain things as conspiracy theories with chemtrails specifically, there are literally businesses that have patented programs where they go out and say that they are spraying certain things in the sky in order to have a certain result. So it's information that is literally out there, but since it's been labeled as a conspiracy theory over and over and over again, people don't want to believe that things are being sprayed or don't want to believe that these things can make us sick. And some of the things that are being sprayed are heavy metals such as aluminum, barium, radioactive thorium, titanium, cobalt, lead, and a couple of others. And they have been shown, when it is found in the bloodstream, to cause certain diseases such as Parkinson's, tumors, cardiac dysfunction within some individuals. And I was just watching a video about an engineer who was taking sweat samples of his sweat after he would get out of sauna after a day where it would be no chemtrails in the sky and there were very low levels of aluminum in his sweat. And then after a day of heavy chemtrail spraying, it was like 2,000 the amount of aluminum in his sweat after a heavy chemtrail day. So he was saying that it's very important when you do see chemtrails in the sky within the first 24 hours to go sit in a sauna and get those excess toxins out. However, a lot of people don't have saunas, so there are different ways to cause your body to sweat, but maybe it is worth considering investing in a sauna. I mean, it is a pretty penny, but it is definitely something that is on my list for our future home. So switching gears a little bit, right now I am currently making some butternut squash soup. I made some last year and I didn't attempt to make it again because I just did not enjoy it. I put too much chicken broth. I didn't read a recipe and I was like, let me just see what I can do. I was just not at the level of throwing things together and creating a great meal. I feel like I've gotten better at this point, so this soup was a lot better, but I did follow a recipe and I can share that down below because it was quite delicious, and I will be making it again because we are celebrating Thanksgiving with my husband's extended side of the family this weekend, and I think it will be a good little side dish to have because who doesn't love a nice, nourishing, warming soup to fuel the body? But that is everything that I have for you this week. If you have anything you would like me to touch on, pregnancy-wise, conspiracy theory-wise, please let me know and I would love to share. Otherwise, I hope you have a great rest of your week and I will see you soon.